Sapphire Spider Oracle channel. If it's your first time being here, I appreciate you being here. This is my first time filming in my office since I've redone my floors, and I can already tell my voice is echoing a lot more, so we're gonna try and be mindful of the audio. Just bear with me. And I've got a birthday treat for my Virgos, so I bought this new deck. It's the Golden Botticelli deck, and I'm super psyched to use it today with you guys. I've barely pulled any cards out of here. Kind of the same thing for this Starseed Oracle, which is what we're going to start with. I just haven't had enough time with these decks, so I wanted to break them out for something new today. And we'll get started with your Starseed Oracle first. We are checking in for the Pisces full moon. Pisces full moon. Oh, that's like a lot of cards. You know, I've been thinking it's this card here I have, but let's wait and see. Let's find out. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope that birthday season's been awesome to you too. And last shuffle. So for this Pisces full moon, the Starseed Oracle that's here to greet you is lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. Now, I pulled this card a few weeks ago, and it was right before I cleaned out my entire house. And I had to clean out my house because I was redoing the floors, and I thought very much about how it was restarting from the foundations, right? Cleaning everything out of your life, starting new, literally from the foundations, and building up from there. It's not that you have to deconstruct everything, it's just there. And with the lifting the veil message, it's mentioning how when I ripped up my carpets and I was sweeping out under the baseboards, like I found stuff that wasn't even from me. It was from the previous people that lived here in the house. And that's where you really get the belief of, you know, objects and other people's personal items carrying that energy with them. There's certain things in your life. Ooh, whoa. Oh, this card just spoke to me hardcore, y'all. There's certain things in your life that, like, you literally have to lift the veil. You got to rip the carpet up. You got to rip everything out in order to be able to see. And for the first time, I just noticed this plume of smoke coming out of this. There's like a factory scene back here. If this isn't Seattle, it's Vegas. They're one of those hotels that, and I was gonna say, there's the Space Needle over here. There's a nuclear bomb going off over here. There's like oil pipelines. There's tanks and everything. Yeah, soldiers and tanks and war scenes down here. That's what I mean. This is, of course, talking about a cosmic level as well, Virgo, and it is. We just came through the 9/9 portal, which is my birthday. Hey, born on a portal day. The information that just came through that portal is very much about wrapping up a cycle. You are, it just said, majorly awakening. You're going through a lot where you're just pulling back the veil on all this heavy, dark energy that we see in reality. If it's unaligned from your life, it must go. It's about opening up to this beautiful paradise back here that we've got. There's a waterfall. It's literally like utopia. And recognizing that our world is that place, but it's also covered up in this veil of this dense energy that we sense out there. There's just, it said there's a lot being covered up in that sense. Like there's a lot of dense energy there. You've got to clear that out, and it is the season. I mean, we usually talk about spring cleaning, but the fall season is definitely about clearing some space and preparing for other things coming up to winter and harvest, right? So there's a similar cycle that happens in the fall. All right, let's get into the rest of your tarot reading. I'm gonna put this card over here. And let's check out this Golden Botticelli. So either building off of that message or everything else. Ooh, hang on. I pulled this card for me the other day. I put it in the wrong way. Make sure my decks are all good. Okay. It's coming in for this Pisces full moon for you, Virgo. Something said 6 and it said 3. There's numbers. I'm going to start with 3. All right. Beautiful cards. God, I'm obsessed with them. So lovely. Okay. P.S. I brought in all these red and pink crystals, which is that root chakra, that foundation. That's what I was really feeling called to bring in today. So let's go with that. And let's start with your first card. What's coming in for this full moon? What's the message? Four of Swords. Just gave me some Lord of the Rings. It was showing me these swords here and how they technically kind of block that path, and it said the way is shut. It also said that though, because look at this interesting doorway to a cave right here, and that's where it was bringing me the part of the third Lord of the Rings movie where Aragorn has to go into the mountain and see the spirits and basically summon them to fulfill their oath. And they try to intimidate him with their whole chant, and they tell him, you know, the way is shut. It is kept by the dead, and the dead keep it. The way is shut. And he doesn't take that for an answer. He takes it as, oh, well, actually, I'm going to step into my full power now. And it is 1:23 p.m. on the clock as I say that. I'm going to step into my full power now, and I'm going to summon you to fulfill your oath because I'm the king of Gondor, right? And so there's something coming through with that. What I'm really catching from that whole vibe right there is some meditation and ascending over any obstacles that you see. And that is a traditional Four of Swords message. It's about rest and recovery. It's about some meditation, just really kind of, you know, you see how he's pointing up to the sky? That's very much a symbol of, you know, depending on the cosmos, on the Most High, believing that there is a higher path and a higher power to help you. And at times when you feel like you can't move down the right path, that's where it's time to kind of surrender in a sense and give it up to the Most High. So then you might retreat into meditation. You might retreat into something that allows you this great awakening to empower yourself and summon either your own energy back to you. You could say it in a sense of like your spirit family. You're summoning your spirit family to you to fulfill their oath, to rise up, to, I don't know, follow you or something. So that's the main message I'm getting here. But I am getting the sense of there's a possibility of this kind of dark doorway. Some of you guys have to really recede into yourself a bit to get to this point. And in doing that, you rise above whatever is blocking your path. And it very much has to do, is that with your dependency on the Most High, is what it keeps saying. Your dependency on the Most High. Interesting phrase to use there. Let's keep going. Three of Pentacles. It was very much pointing out how this landscape can literally just like run into this one. So it's like a continuous picture. It just said a tableau, which is a term in art history for sure. So getting some art history references out of this, of course. With this Three of Pentacles, I mean, it's, of course, very much emphasizing the musical aspect. It's talking about how music, in a sense, can be a stepping stone. It's literally talking about, like, art and music and how the symbolism and theories, because this is a paintbrush, I believe, actually, how the theories of art and music apply to the rest of our lives and the symbolism that comes from these things is what becomes these stepping stones that help bridge from intangible concepts and sounds into reality, right? The artist has an image in their head and then they paint that image. A musician hears something in their head and then they play that music. And that's where it's talking about your body is the actual conduit for this higher power. And that, whew, what a deep message. Yes, like your body is the conduit for this higher power to manifest it into creative reality. So we could be talking about a project, Virgo. We could be talking about something in your, maybe it's your career with the pentacles. It could definitely have to do with careers and money, something very solid and tangible. It could also have to do with either home or just something that you're building in somewhat of a business respect, or something that you anticipate to be around for a while, something solid, right? Something literally tangible. But it's very much mentioning your body and how your body itself is the conduit that brings this energy into creation, into reality. Oh, and that's where, okay, something just came through and it said, but you feel so small. You feel so small, like you're incapable sometimes. And that's part of this veil you've got to lift off too. It's part of this veil you got to lift off too. Look, see how clothed this figure is and how free and open and unclothed this one is. That's when you strip off barriers, when you take off the veil, when you take off the robes, that's when you're left with just your pure essence, right? That's what you're kind of ascending over. That's part of what this message is. Like, once you take off all this other stuff you imagine to be yourself, you're left with your purity. And then you get to really channel that into reality, into being with this Three of Pentacles. Oh man, it just gave me another Lord of the Rings reference. Yeah, this Temperance card just came through as Lady Galadriel, which is a really strange interpretation, I would say, for a Temperance card. A Temperance card usually doesn't carry a huge message about clairvoyance or psychic energy, but that's definitely what I just picked up off of this, and has everything to do with this pitcher of water that is being poured into this plate or this bowl. And of course, that's the scene from that movie. She pours the water into the basin and she tells Frodo that the mirror, the basin, will show him things that were, things that are, and things that have not yet come to pass. In that respect, she is offering this moment of temperance because all you can do is observe to a good extent and take everything one step at a time, right? He sees the future, but it's not like he can make all these events happen much faster. He's a little person traveling through all of the land to try and complete this task. And so there's something here about that, there's definitely a mention of this very radiant, feminine, calm yet regal, clairvoyant energy coming out of here. Very elf-like energy coming off of this. And it says she's graceful. It just said like how she bestows the light. Oh God, I wish I could remember what the name of that thing is. I think it's called the Star of something other. She's got that like bottle of light that she gives to Frodo that helps him in the end and everything. That's what I mean. Like that character does very much represent more of a queen or a high priestess or something like that, but it's really coming through on this Temperance card too. And I think that has to do with the fact that she's not an extremely active character. She just knows the world, like feels the world, and she does do things to make sure it doesn't fall into, negative energies, but she's not a warrior figure. She's more passive, and she feels and kind of senses how things are going to go and gives the best advice and then lets everything go from there. That's kind of the Temperance vibe I'm catching here. So before we pull more cards, Virgo, you are very much sensing and feeling these things. You're taking your time with it because I do think the way is temporarily shut. There's something that has to strip off, coalesce. You've got to mentally, spiritually rise above this, literally possibly through some shadow work, through some inner work, through some meditation that helps you ascend in that way and get that clarity. Once you have that clarity, You already know this lesson. It's saying your body is the conduit for that energy. So once you receive that clarity, it said, then you got to go do it, right? But you're taking your time with it because you know that there are things that were, things that are, and things that have not yet come to pass. And it feels like you're like soaking up all of that and considering all of that before you really make your move. You're taking it one step at a time. Like I said, one step at a time. Someone just said, gee, thanks. Yeah, I know, right? Like, this one wants to pop out. Knight of Wands. Let me roll some of these crystals up here a little bit. Come on, y'all. There's a nice rainbow that just showed up over here in my rose quartz as soon as I pulled out this Knight of Wands. So, this Knight of Wands, hang on, I'm sitting with it. Just give me a minute. I find it so interesting that the white horse he's on barely fits into the frame of this card. Like, if the tail's running off and the foot is barely getting cut off over here. It's like this white horse cannot fit into the full frame of this card. And that is because it just said too close. Like, it's cropped in too close. Like, in photography, you don't want to cut people's feet off and tops of heads off and stuff like that, right? So it's like actually critiquing a little bit. It's saying like too close, like this is framed in too close. But it's also, I mean, that's the thing, is like he's not going to stay in this card for very long. He's going to move, right? And that's the thing about a Knight of Wands energy, is it's extremely fast. It gets in, it gets out. It is the fire knight in the deck, right? So fire is constantly changing shape and moving fast. I said, like, flares up and dies down, flares up and dies down, right? And that's the kind of energy that's coming out under this Four of Swords. And that's where these obstacles are coming in too, because there's some kind of energy that keeps flaring up and then dying off, and flaring up and then dying off, flaring up and then dying off. This is almost acting as a fence for, like, to keep that kind of energy out a bit. Because it just, it was kind of, like, man, it's like, show me how this tree's kind of on fire back here. Like, it just gave me like a burning bush message. Like, this is a message for somebody in this pile for sure. There's some kind of flighty in and out energy, a rushing energy. It's constantly on the move. It's in and out. It flares up, it dies back down. That is inconsistent energy to some folks, right? That's inconsistent energy. Now, a Knight of Wands can get the job done, and that's the thing, is they're extremely swift, very much in line with the Knight of Swords, but just in a fiery, passionate way. But a Knight of Wands is definitely inconsistent energy, and that's where I feel like you've got some barriers up, because you're kind of sorting this energy out, is what it really feels like. You're sorting this out. You're like, what's up with this? And especially if something's like constantly, anything unaligned must go. If there's something that's constantly like flaring up and dying back and isn't really staying in one place, that leaves you a little stuck, because now you're having to figure out what you're trying to do with yourself, making up your mind, bringing things into reality, into creations. Again, this could be about some projects or career, and there could be opportunities to just keep flaring up and dying off, flaring up and dying off, flaring up and dying off. So you're frustrated and you're trying to, like, God, what do I need to do? What is my higher path? What am I supposed to overcome through this? You've seen some of it, Virgo. You've seen some of it. You know exactly what to do. You're just stuck on this flighty, like, in and out, fiery Knight of Wands energy. And if this is a person, then this is a person going in and out of your life. If it's a like career news and stuff, it just feels like it keeps flaring up and dying back down, and you're just like, what do I do with this? Let's get at least 2 more cards. And this one just slid off the top over here, so we're going to make that the lucky number 7 card. 9 of Cups. It's a lot of wish fulfillment. There's a cup on the ground though, so not everybody is happy and fulfilled in this card. And that's one thing that I'm really picking up out of it immediately. There's somebody who's definitely not that happy. And then everyone else I think is chilling and doing pretty good. And that's just kind of the way it is sometimes, right, Virgo? Like, not everyone's going to be happy with your decisions at all times. It's just the truth. It's just how it goes. And I think you're very aware of this. Or it's like you're not totally satisfied, right? And okay, it feels like this energy you've been struggling with, you do get to start grounding it into reality and creating those things, giving life to it, right? And you're mostly satisfied with it, but there's this one cup on the ground over here, so you're either not completely satisfied with it, or there's some folks around you that are not completely satisfied with your efforts and what you're doing. Overall, you're getting what you wished for, what you asked for. You're getting this opportunity. And I feel like you're getting past this Knight of Wands energy. Now this feels more like the news riding in to meet these people, like a meeting or a committee or a board or something like that, right? And like 8 out of 9 of these folks are pretty happy with you. And then there's like this one person that's kind of like, or something. You take on this energy in that way then, because you're riding in, and even if not everyone is happy with your choices, you're going to do it anyway, because that's also what this kind of card carries with it, right? Is that you're going to get in there and get it done. If it doesn't please absolutely everyone, well, it got the majority of them, right? Like, we did our best there, and that's where this Knight card can take on positive aspects, because it's not just about being flighty and flaring up and in and out. It's about riding forward passionately and getting the job done. And that is one thing that this Knight is definitely going to do. Not always like 100% dependable, but will definitely ride in and get the job done, especially when it is in regards to their passion or something that they want to take care of. So that could be you for sure. You get past that negative side of the energy. You become very impassioned. You ride forward. You are working on exacting what you asked for, what you wished for, but it's not going to make everyone happy. And you said you have to know that, and you do know that. What's this 6th card over here? There's something touching my 3rd eye right now. Like it just started. It's just very much kind of like tickling me right there, like drawing my attention to that. And that's what I mean. There's that Temperance card, and I'm telling you, it's Lady Galadriel energy. Like, she can see those things and she can interpret those things, but she takes her time with it. And with this 8 of Cups right here, let me sit with it, because this is a very different 8 of Cups. Let me see what this message is. It was very much implying that this man is about to reach his hand into each and every one of these cups to see if it's the one that's got, like, I don't know, whatever the prize is, or the trinket, or the key, or something like that. There's an energy here of not knowing which cup is the right cup, not knowing which choice is the right choice. That's not usually here on an 8 of Cups card. But you do have some notes, and it's like you've got the book, you've been studying. It just said Akashic Records. That's what I mean. That's what I mean, the Akashic Records. Like, yeah, like you've been working within yourself to make the right choices, to understand your, it said your history, your past, your Akashic Record, which that's like your DNA downloads and everything. You're very much paying attention to the things that were, the things that are, and the things that have not yet come to pass. And weighing all of that in both hands, pouring it back and forth into one another as you sort things out. Because you know that you've got to make a choice, which means you've got to walk away from some of these other choices. And like I was saying, like, not everyone's happy in this Nine of Cups card. So somebody leaves the situation, somebody walks away and leaves it down to 8 cups, right? So that's what's coming through here. This Nine of Cups, not everyone's happy. Somebody or something gets subtracted from that equation, and now we're down to 8 cups. And that is a more traditional 8 of Cups message, that some things have to be poured out and some things you have to walk away from to go pursue your happiness. You have to walk away from Lady Galadriel to go complete the mission. You got to walk away from whoever is not supporting you so that you can continue working on this and studying this. You have been digging into your past, present, and future to weigh this decision. Now you got to choose which cup to reach into. And something, whether you're letting it go or they're leaving the table and walking away, whatever, some of that energy has to balance out. Somebody is in and out of the equation, or something's in and out of the equation. It's not fully happy, and it will probably die down and die back. And that's going to leave you with this 8 cups, meaning you got to move forward, let something go and move forward, make the choice and keep going. Anything unaligned must go. Question everything. All these details in these paintings. Yes, yes. Whew. I'm feeling this message, Virgo. What's this 7th card? What's the final message here on this reading for the Pisces full moon? What do we got? Seven of Cups. Yeah, you're definitely left with choices to make and options and magic and mystery. It just said, man, it's a beautiful card. This definitely feels like almost one of those Greek or Roman stories about some kind of nymph or spirit or god that, you know, cherishes a mortal for her beauty and comes chasing after her and transforms into different shapes so that it can seduce her and like everything like that. It's bringing me a bit of that. That can definitely be part of a 7 of Cups energy. 7 of Cups is definitely about some magic and mystery. Can be dreams and illusion, fantasy. And these can be in positive ways. And when you're presented with all of these concepts and symbols and ideas, again, you're left with a choice here, Virgo. There's a choice. It said there's a choice being made, and there's also a choice that, like, that opens up infinitely more choices for you. Something being subtracted from the equation. It might look like you're losing something at first, but maybe you're just yes, there's the message. Oh, that's what I'm saying. You're making room for new choices, new blessings, new figures, people, opportunities to enter your life. It's very mysterious. You're not quite sure which cup to choose. You got a whole bunch of cups to choose from. It's just there's a lot of choices to make. It's very confusing. It said, and yet it's not. Woo, Spirit, what a freaking mind bender over here. Like, what it is seriously like between this 9 of Cups, 8 of Cups, 7 of Cups, this 9, 8, 7, it said that's a countdown. But that's where there's some different interpretations coming in here, and I'm liking it, but it's just kind of throwing it's throwing like alternative storylines at you, like, you know, this is what a traditional tarot card's about, but this is what this one looks like, right? And that's the same thing with life. It's like, well, this is what a stereotype or a traditional thing might look like, but here is this presentation of it. And you got to consider the other side of those things. So 9 of Cups, you getting your wishes fulfilled, but somebody else is not too happy about that. Maybe something leaves the situation, that leaves you with a lot of choices. Maybe even after you make that choice from studying your past, present, and future, that opens up a portal which invites new energies and new spirits and new people or opportunities into your life, and you're left with yet even more choices. And this time, it does feel more mysterious and fantastical and possibly joyous. Like, this is a very ambiguous card. It's not really clear what's what. And I keep looking at this line right here and keep thinking how it's like water. It's like, are we underwater? Are we in the air? Are we in a landscape? Are we in heaven? Are we on earth? Like, what is, right? Like, whoo, that is totally the energy coming through here. And that feels like a Pisces full moon energy for sure, because Pisces full moon, or just Pisces energy, embodies like a little bit of everything. They're the last sign of the zodiac, and they're very artsy, watery energy, intuitive, dreamlike, fantasy, illusion, all that stuff I just said about the 7 of Cups. That's a full-on Pisces full moon energy for sure. So I say whatever walks away from you at this time is meant to walk away, because they're clearly not happy with your choices, and it's okay. The majority of what you're doing, or the majority of your tribe, are supporting you, behind you. It's just part of what has to fall away at this time. You're making room for new things in your life. That's what this message is for. You're letting anything unaligned go. You're making room for new things in your life. So make that room. Make that room, Virgo. You got it. That's what I've got for you. Let me know how that resonates for you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys on the next reading. Bye.